Hello there, and welcome back to whatever the heck we're calling this, to talk about The Mandalorian. We're going to go old school this week and no intro stuff. So, let's talk about Mandalorian Chapter 12, The Siege. So, we start off on the Razor Crest as it's limping towards Corvus, and it's not going great. In fact, Din has the child in a hole trying to fix some wiring, which doesn't go great to a very good comedic effect. And basically, Din decides that they're not going to be able to make it to Corvus as they are now, so they take a detour, which I guess is a thing that's feasible, to Navarro. If you don't remember what Navarro is, that's the planet basically from the first season where Din was contracted up by the Bounty Hunter Guild to operate. And it's currently where Carl Weathers, I can't remember his character's name, director Carl Weathers' character and Cara Dune are currently hanging out. We cut to a scene of Cara Dune going into actually what used to be the Mandalorian covert to bust some alien criminals. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of that alien species, but it's, to be crude, it's the furry guys with the sacks on their chin. We see that in episode 4 in the cantina. Anywho, so they stole some stuff, and Cara Dune, who apparently is the new marshal of Navarro, basically went in there and, well, kicking butt is a nice word. The actual word is killing them and bringing back the stuff to the owners. We cut back again to the Razor Crest landing on Navarro and being greeted warmly by director Carl Weathers and Cara Dune. We walk through Navarro, and we see that it's basically a changed place. The bar where most of the stuff was filmed in season 1 is now a school, which is where they deposit the child for, again, comedic effect. And they go off to talk about other things. In this case, they agree to fix the Razor Crest, but while Din is there, they'd like for him to help them out with a problem, which is an Empire base that is still on the planet. They want to get rid of it. Din agrees, and him, director Carl Weathers, Cara Dune, and the fish guy from the very first episode, the first bounty we see. I don't know if his name is Mithral, or if that's a species. He's referred to it very hatefully via Carl Weathers. Anywho, he's there because he's agreed to work for Carl Weathers. I guess he worked for Carl Weathers before that. Basically work off his bounty. And Carl Weathers says he's like, he does the ledgers, or no, so he does the bookkeeping maybe. Anywho, he's brought along. We'll talk a little bit about that later. They go to this base that's supposed to have a skeleton crew, and of course it doesn't. It's fully occupied, manned. So they have to kind of bust in and fight their way through. The plan is that they were going to overload the reactor, which is charged by lava. They're going to override it, which will cause the base to vaporize, which they do. As they're leaving, they discover a lab where we see some things in glass tubes, and two Empire scientists basically freaking out, like, oh god, we gotta erase it, and they fight and are killed. Cara Dune says they have to find out what they were doing there, and as they goes through some recordings, they see a report being sent to Moff Gideon, which is how they discover that Moff Gideon is still alive. Upon learning this, Din obviously isn't too happy about being separated from the child, so they tell him to go ahead and leave via his jetpack, and they're going to get out of there, which he does. So then we've got Mithral, Fish Dude, Cara Dune, and Carl Weathers, director Carl Weathers, fight their way out of the base Before it explodes, they get into like an armored transport uh, and escape, being chased by some people, some troopers on jet speeders, which doesn't go great for the speeders. And then we also see that 4 TIE fighters are chasing them as well. And while they're able to take out one, it's not looking great with the other 3 closing in. And then in the last second, the Razor Crest swoop in, fully repaired, manned by Din and the child. Uh, Take out the remaining TIE fighters. And then leave at that point. We get a quick after scene with the New Republic TIE fighter guy that we saw from the last 2 episodes ago. Following up on Navarro over the incident. I guess he found out that there was a rebel base there. He's asking about it, and he was asking Carl Weathers about the Razor Crest being there. Obviously, kind of starting to put 2 and 2 together with Din out there doing stuff, and he kind of wants information about that, which Carl Weathers doesn't give. And as he leaves, he runs into Cara Dune outside, and I don't know if you remember, but Cara Dune was a drop trooper. I don't know exactly what that is in the rebellion, and they reminisce about. Reminisce isn't the right word. They talk about Alderaan, which is where Cara Dune is from, and then he basically leaves a. It looks like a sheriff's badge, but a badge with the New Republic sign on it, asking her to, join the New Republic and help them, rebuild or, keep the Outer Rim safe. Excuse me. And then we get one more scene of Moff getting on his Star Destroyer, getting a message from, basically being relayed a message that a tracker was successfully placed on the Razor Crest. One of the people that worked on the Razor Crest was, a mole, and that he now, has an ability to track Din and the child. And we end with him in this room where we see him it's a room layered down side to side with this black armor. We don't get a really good look at it, and that's kind of where it ends. Yeah, I had to watch this episode twice because I really didn't care for it the first time around. My biggest problem, I guess, was it felt like really bad writing or lazy writing. The biggest thing is I didn't like how the thing was going with the blue alien, with the fish dude Mothro. They kind of sort of had him there just to be a butt monkey, just somebody that just kind of sort of the script picks on, and I just don't know. It didn't serve any purpose unless usually that's something that's done for comedic effect, and it didn't seem super funny to me. It's just you get this guy, they drag this guy out there who they've already kind of sort of established isn't super useful in clearing out a base. Maybe if he was a slicer or a door hacker or something like that, it would make sense. But he drives them out there in his speeder, and it's implied that he's just going to wait outside and pick them up when they leave. But no, then they force him to open the door. They force him in. They force him out on this dangerous ledge to override the reactor. It's kind of we're never really given a reason to think that this guy is a bad guy. Sure, he had a bounty on it, but he's not dangerous. And it was just kind of all the 3 main characters just kind of sort of bullying him into doing stuff. It rubbed me wrong. And then it even ends with the episode when they escape in the armored transport. They crush his speeder, and it goes like, haha, sucks to be you kind of thing. And it's just, I mean, I understand why they were doing that at that point. It just, I don't think it landed. It just felt, I didn't care for it. And that kind of bled over the entire episode for me when I first watched it, and I didn't really care for it. I watched it again, and I can accept what they did there. I still don't care for it, but I don't know, maybe there's more in the script there that we just didn't get to see. Yeah. But I mean, there's other interesting stuff there. Of course, the big thing is, the lab, and the Moff getting revealed at the end that the Empire. It's implied that that they were definitely using the blood of the child to do something, and we already know cloning is a thing in this universe. And I guess it's kind of it kind of go good. It can go good or bad here. I'd like to think that he's just Moff Gideon's using the child's blood to make like a force-sensitive troopers, or if you're a fan of the expanded universe, dark troopers. That seems to be what's there, but the cynic in me is terrified that this is somehow going to tie into the Rise of Skywalker and the Emperor coming back. I really just don't want. I mean, it's inevitable to have things tie into that. It's such a disaster isn't the right word. It's just such a disappointing thing to have something good like the Mandalorian tied to. I don't want this adorable child to have anything to do with that part of the franchise. So I hope it doesn't. I hope it is Dark Troopers, but it's tough. I mean, that's just kind of sitting in the back of my head. The last interesting thing to me was I'm very intrigued by the New Republic's presence in the Outer Rim. We've only seen it, 3 times in well, I don't even know if that jail was in the Outer Rim. I think it was, but we've only seen the New Republic 3 times in the Mandalorian. It's during that jailbreak where we saw Dave Filoni and other people as pilots, and right before the ice planet, Dave Filoni and this other guy who we see in this episode. And it kind of tells me that I think the New Republic has a very small presence in the Outer Rim, which would make sense. You got to get the whole core in line before anything. And this is only something like 5 years after the Battle of Endor, Battle of the whatever. But it's interesting because it's obviously this pilot in an X-wing, which doesn't seem like that's the ideal thing to go around the Outer Rim in. It's just a couple X-wings, and obviously this is an older, overweight guy. He says he fought in the war, but he's obviously not like your peak soldier. And I'm kind of wondering if this is something like, you got a good soldier on a kind of a crap detail. Think like Dances with Wolves, where he goes out to like this, this base, or it's just him out in the plains. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening here, is that, you just got this ragtag group in charge of trying to bring, this impossible task of bringing the Outer Rim into the fold. So I find that interesting, and that kind of supports my thoughts on that when he's trying to recruit Cara Dune. Somebody that's obviously capable and can do a lot of good for the New Republic in the Outer Rim. And this slight attempt at a character arc for Cara Dune, because she's obviously considering it at the end. I don't know, it's just that's interesting to me, especially knowing what some of the reasons why the New Republic fails by the time The Force Awakens comes around. The big thing is they're spread so thin. It's just, the galaxy is a huge place, and you can't. It's something the New Republic just was not prepared for, even 10, 15, 20 years after the fact. It was just too much, too thin, and that allowed the First Order to sweep in. So yeah, there's a lot of great action in this episode, a lot of great cinematography. Director Carl Weathers did a great job. It's just some of the writing rubbed me wrong. Some people I follow and respect online don't really care for cloning being brought into the Mandalorian, which I guess I agree, because basically it's space eugenics, and yeah, the Empire's bad and everything. It's kind of tiresome to see things like eugenics it's kind of a tired thing to play out. But it's also, I feel like that's unavoidable. The second, George Lucas wrote clones into the script, we can't not have cloning in the Star Wars universe. And everything that goes along with that, which is, genetic manipulation and all that. So yeah, I hope next episode maybe we get to see Ahsoka Tano. I'm still worried about what I was worried about last week regarding her, but we can't live in fear of things like that. The story's got to move forward, and that's it. I will talk to you guys next time, which is over episode chapter 13, and yeah, we'll see what we got. I hope you guys have a great day, great week, great everything. Great Thanksgiving, all that jazz. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.